There are truths in this life that are not shouted from the mountaintops, but whispered in the stillness of the night. They are not written in thunder or carved into stone for all to see. They are carried like secret seeds in the hearts of those who dare to listen. This is God's hidden message for chosen ones. The world often mistakes greatness for power, wisdom for noise, and purpose for applause, yet God works in reverse. His most powerful messages are not given to the crowd, but to the individual who is willing to walk alone. To be chosen does not mean you are favored in the eyes of the world. It means you are called to carry a weight the world does not understand. God hides his message not to keep it from you, but to protect it until you are ready. Like treasure buried in the earth, it waits for the one who will dig with faith. If it were revealed too soon, it would be trampled by those who cannot see its worth. So the chosen ones are tested, their patience is stretched, their faith is tried, their courage is sharpened. Only then, when the heart has been made strong, does the hidden message unfold. This message is not written in ordinary language. It comes in the shape of trials in the silence that feels unbearable, in the prayers that seem unanswered. It comes through the sting of rejection, the ache of loneliness, the long nights when the soul feels abandoned. But each moment of pain is a letter, each delay is a word, each loss is a sentence put together. They spell out something eternal, something only the chosen can read. And what is this hidden message? It is this: that you were never forsaken, that your suffering was not meaningless, that your tears have been counted, and your scars have become a map pointing you home. God whispers to the chosen ones, "You are mine, I have hidden you so the world cannot destroy you. Before your time I have led you through shadows, so that you will know the value of the light. I have allowed the silence, so that when I speak you will never mistake my voice." The chosen ones are not spared the storm. They are shaped by it. They are not protected from the fire. They are refined in it. They are not lifted above the world. They are sent into it with a secret strength invisible to all but those who have walked the same path. So if you find yourself wondering why you feel different, why your journey seems harder, why your prayers are answered in silence, perhaps it is because you are among those chosen to carry God's hidden message. Do not despise the hiddenness, treasure it, for one day, when the time is right, that message will rise within you like a flame, and the world will see what God always knew was planted in your soul. God hides his message, not to withhold it, but to protect it until the chosen are ready. When we think of divine truth, we often imagine it as something that should be obvious, visible, and accessible to everyone at once. But the reality is far more mysterious. The holiest truths are like jewels buried deep beneath the surface, placed where only those with patience and courage can uncover them. If they were scattered openly on the streets, they would be mocked, trampled, or misused by those who see no value in them. A hidden message is a guarded treasure, and the act of waiting, searching, and longing is itself part of preparation to hold it with reverence. The chosen ones are not denied revelation. They are prepared for it through delay, through silence, through circumstances that stretch the soul until it is ready to carry something weightier than the world can imagine. There is a timing to God's mysteries, and timing is as sacred as the truth itself. Imagine a seed buried in soil. To the impatient eye, it looks as though nothing is happening, yet beneath the surface, the seed is splitting, roots are pushing into the earth, and new life is stirring. If the soil is broken too soon, the fragile life inside will never survive. In the same way, God does not release his hidden message prematurely. He waits until the heart of the chosen has been strengthened, until the character has been tested, until the foundation is deep enough to sustain the weight of revelation. A truth revealed too early can crush, but a truth revealed in its perfect season can transform. The chosen ones often feel frustrated by the silence, as though God is withholding something essential, as though he is ignoring their prayers or delaying their destiny. But the silence is not absence, it is protection. It is the careful work of a craftsman, shaping a vessel that must be strong enough to hold fire. Those who are chosen are not being punished by delay. They are being honored with preparation. The waiting is evidence of their calling, not the denial of it. The longer the hidden message is protected, the more profound it will be when it is revealed, for it has been guarded not just from the world, but even from the chosen. One's own impatience, every moment of hiddenness, teaches reliance. Every unanswered question deepens faith. Every closed door trains the eyes to see beyond what is visible, and slowly, without realizing it, the chosen one becomes capable of receiving something far greater than what they originally asked for. What once seemed like withholding reveals itself as wisdom. What once felt like emptiness proves to be the very soil where God was planting strength. The hidden message is not a denial, it is a safeguard, because divine truth is too precious to be wasted on an unprepared heart. God's delay is not distance, his silence is not rejection, his concealment is not negligence. It is his way of shaping his chosen ones into the kind of vessels that can receive, carry, and protect the weight of his secret word. Every trial, silence, and loss forms part of a greater message. Only the chosen can read. Life often feels like a scattered collection of broken moments, disappointments, and unanswered questions. At times, the silence of heaven feels heavier than words, and the pain of waiting seems unbearable, yet hidden within these very experiences is a divine script written not in ink on paper, but in fire upon the soul. The chosen ones are given fragments, small pieces of a larger story, and at first it seems impossible to understand how such suffering could ever fit into a message of hope. But the truth is that the language of God is unlike the language of men. He does not write with convenience or ease. He writes with trials, with delays, with losses, with the slow shaping of a heart that learns to recognize meaning in places others see only emptiness. The silence that surrounds the chosen is not empty silence. It is like pause between musical notes. The space that gives shape to melody. Without silence, music is only noise. Without pauses, words lose their rhythm. The chosen begin to realize that God's silence is not neglect, but the shaping of a deeper harmony. It forces the heart to lean beyond what is heard, to seek faint whispers that only faith can catch. What feels like divine absence is actually divine nearness concealed, and what feels like unanswered prayer is often the most profound answer waiting for its proper hour to arrive. Lost too speaks a language of its own when something precious is taken away. When dreams crumble or relationships fade, it feels like a cruel theft, but in the secret vocabulary of heaven, loss is not the end but the carving out of space. An empty vessel can be filled. A broken vessel can be reshaped. The chosen ones are not destroyed by their losses, they are prepared by them. Every scar becomes a letter, every tear becomes punctuation, every ache of the heart becomes a phrase in the unfolding message. Over time they begin to recognize patterns in their pain, connections between their trials and meaning that was invisible when each moment was viewed in isolation. Trials. The ink silence is the spacing, and loss is the shaping force. Together they compose a text that cannot be read by casual observers. Only the chosen, those who have walked through the fire and endured the weight of unanswered questions, can decipher it. And in the deciphering they discover something astonishing. What looked like fragments of despair were pieces of a masterpiece. What felt like abandonment was actually preparation. And what seemed like meaningless suffering was the very alphabet of a divine message written for them alone. The chosen ones learn to look back on their lives and read the script that pain and silence have inscribed upon their souls, and though the world may never understand it, they carry within themselves a message that transcends every trial they have endured. Being chosen means walking a harder path, but carrying a deeper purpose. Many long for the comfort of an easy life free from challenges, rejection, and uncertainty. But those who are chosen are called into a road that winds through valleys others avoid. It is not a path paved with applause or lined with recognition. For the chosen are often misunderstood, sometimes even despised, because the weight they carry cannot be explained in ordinary language. To be chosen is not to be elevated in the eyes of men, but to be entrusted with something sacred in the eyes of God. The harder path is not a punishment, it is a refining fire that prepares the soul for a mission that cannot be carried by the faint of heart. The chosen ones walk through deserts where water is scarce, through nights where stars are hidden, through storms that threaten to tear everything apart. And yet each hardship is shaping something within them. The desert teaches dependence, the night teaches endurance, the storm teaches strength. While others crumble under these burdens, the chosen learn to endure them, not because they are naturally stronger, but because their purpose requires it. They are being trained by trials that will one day become their testimony, tested by fire that will one day shine as light for others lost in dark. Purpose is always heavier than comfort. To carry a message that can heal others, one must first be broken. To speak words that pierce the heart, one must first know the sting of wounds. To guide others out of despair, one must first walk through the valley of shadows. The chosen do not merely talk about faith, hope, or perseverance, they embody it. Their path carves into them a depth that easy living never could. Their struggles make their words credible, their scars make their wisdom undeniable, and their endurance makes their presence a beacon for others who feel they cannot go on walking. Harder path also separates the chosen from the crowd. While the world seeks short cuts, the chosen are called to walk the long way, the narrow way, the way that strips away pride and comfort until only truth remains. This path is lonely not because they are forgotten, but because they are set apart. Crowd cannot see what they see, cannot hear what they hear, cannot bear what they bear. Their isolation is not abandonment, but consecration, a sacred space where God Himself becomes their companion. When no one else remains in time, the chosen begin to realize that the very difficulties they resented were shaping them into the people. They were always meant to be. The trials sharpen their vision, the burdens deepen their faith, the rejections strengthen their resolve. While others chase fleeting pleasures, they are entrusted with eternal purpose. To be chosen is to walk a road marked with thorns, yet every thorn presses them closer to their calling. Their harder path is the proof of their deeper purpose. And though the world cannot understand it, the chosen carry within themselves a destiny too weighty to be entrusted to anyone else. The hidden message reveals: you were never forsaken, only prepared for greater light. In the darkest hours, when silence echoes louder than words and every prayer seems to vanish into an endless sky, the heart begins to wonder if it has been abandoned. The chosen know this feeling well, for their journey is not cushioned with ease, but tested with silence and hardship. Yet behind every unanswered question and every long season of waiting lies a truth deeper than the pain itself. The hidden message is that the silence was not neglect, the delay was not cruelty, the suffering was not meaningless. It was preparation carefully designed to make the soul ready for something brighter than it could imagine. The sense of forsakenness is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry when friends fail, when doors close, when the future feels like a blank wall. It is tempting to believe that even heaven has turned away, but in those very moments unseen hands are at work. Just as a seed is buried in the ground and pressed beneath the weight of soil, the chosen one is placed in circumstances that seem suffocating, but beneath the surface transformation is taking place. Roots are growing, stronger foundations are being laid deeper, and resilience is being formed. Silence light is never appreciated by those who have never known darkness. The chosen are led through shadows, not as punishment, but as preparation, so that when the dawn finally breaks, their eyes will see its beauty with greater clarity. The hidden message becomes clear only in hindsight. When looking back reveals that every loss cleared the way for new strength, every delay carved deeper faith, and every heartbreak created room for greater love. What felt like desert wandering was in truth the forging of character that could withstand the weight of glory. The preparation is not random, but intentional. A craftsman does not strike marble carelessly, but with deliberate precision, shaping something beautiful from what once seemed like a block of stone. In the same way, the chosen are struck by trials that carve away pride, fear, and doubt, until what remains is strong, pure, and radiant. Each blow that felt destructive was in fact creative, shaping them into a vessel capable of holding greater light. This is why the hidden message is only for the chosen, because only those who endure such refining can understand its meaning. To others, suffering looks like waste, silence feels like abandonment, delay seems like failure. But the chosen know another story is being written, one in which every shadow leads to a brighter dawn. What seemed like being forsaken was actually the closest attention. What felt like being forgotten was the deepest form of remembrance. The hidden message once revealed shows that the chosen were not left behind, but lifted higher, not cast off, but set apart, not broken without reason, but prepared for a light that would one day shine through them with unmatched brilliance. The storms and fire do not destroy the chosen shape and refine them. When the winds of life rise and everything familiar is shaken, it feels as though the ground beneath the feet can no longer be trusted. The chosen walk through storms that tear away their illusions of control, and through fires that strip them of everything superficial to the world. These seasons look like devastation, but to heaven they are sacred classrooms where strength is forged and faith is purified. A storm does not come to break the chosen, but to anchor them deeper, and a fire does not come to consume them, but to burn away what is unworthy of their calling. Storms reveal foundations. When skies are clear, any structure can appear strong, but when the rain falls and the winds rage, only what is built on rock endures. The chosen discover in storms what truly holds them, what cannot be moved, what remains unshaken. When everything else collapses, each gust of wind strips away false securities, each crashing wave exposes what was fragile, and by the end what remains is faith that is no longer borrowed from words or traditions, but carved into the soul through lived experience. The storm leaves them standing, not weaker, but stronger, not doubtful, but rooted, not empty, but full of unshakable conviction. The fire is even more mysterious, for it feels destructive at first. Flames consume, heat scorches, and the soul cries out under pressure. Yet fire has always been the tool of refinement. Gold is purified in the furnace, iron is tempered in heat, and the chosen are refined in the flames of trial. What burns away are the fears that once held them back, the pride that once blinded them, the attachments that once chained them. The fire does not touch their true essence, it reveals it. What emerges on the other side is a soul that carries strength beyond explanation, humility born of brokenness, and courage that no ordinary comfort could ever produce. The storms and fire also serve to separate. Not everyone can endure such testing, and many fall away when pressure mounts. But the chosen remain, not because they are naturally resilient, but because grace sustains them in places where human strength would fail. Their endurance becomes a sign, a mark that distinguishes them from the crowd, showing that their calling is greater than their pain. In the silence after the storm, and in the glow after the fire, they find themselves changed, carrying scars that do not shame them but testify to their survival, wounds that do not weaken them but remind them of the power that carried them through. Over time, the chosen begin to view storms and fire not as curses, but as sacred gifts. They see how the winds cleared away what they never needed, how the flames removed what was holding them back, how very forces that threatened to destroy them actually revealed who they were always meant to be. Their journey proves that storms and fire are not the enemies of the chosen, but the instruments of their becoming, shaping them into vessels capable of carrying light, wisdom, and strength beyond what world can comprehend.